Hi, this is Chris with Destination Arts, and today I have a short video on a painting process. So I did get to go on a little journey. We went over to Illinois. I took lots of pictures. It was a beautiful day. I was riding in a Jeep, my brother-in-law's Jeep, actually. We had the top down, which was kind of stressful, and I got very tired, actually, from being in the heat. And I took all these pictures, and the question that I had, it was gorgeous when I was driving, but the camera doesn't necessarily take the same kind of pictures. And so how do you decide on what to paint? And then when you make the decision on what to paint, how do you paint it? So driving back from our journey, I did decide that this was the scene that I wanted because I liked the contrast with the building and the the trees, sorry. And then I tried to work on my process and my cat got in the way. And so I had to, of course, show you the cat disturbing my piece. I did put some decoy books out, but he didn't take them. He's actually still laying on my sketchbook where I take notes. Anyway, so I started this. So the question is, you need an art process. And I wrote down a process that I think I'm going to start teaching this process. So, of course, you have to pick your scene. You have to pick what you're going to paint. I have a lot of times where I just like wing it, and it usually lets me down. Anyway, so this time I did pick a scene. I have a value study question mark in there. One of the things you could do is to perform a value study to ensure what you're going to do for your painting. I would suggest maybe looking for a color scheme and deciding on a point of interest. Now you can see my phone up there with the picture on there. And the reason why I liked this scene so much was because there was so many layers of green and yellow. Okay, so I am working on the process, so stay tuned. I'll have more videos on that coming up. At the moment, I'm just painting that very beautiful sky. So you did see me completely wet the sky area. Then I just decided to do a little bit of blue peeking out through the sort of gray sky that was there. I'm using a little bit of extra water and touching it to my paper towel, my brush to my paper towel, so I don't make an ugly bloom. We don't like ugly blooms. Ugly blooms. We like pretty blooms, but not ugly blooms. Anyway, I did have a problem with my phone keep turning off. And I did struggle to get the proper yellow-green that I wanted in there. I have two greens in this palette, and I used the green that's not as vibrant. You'll see me in a second. I actually do pull out all the stops and get the blue-green, which is a little bit unnatural, but it was just so vibrant. So I painted it, and then I decided that it wasn't quite good enough. So I kept changing. So as I said, the cool thing about this scene that I saw was just the different layers of all the colors going back and forth. So you'll see me try to capture that. And I think in a second I go for the blue-green. There I go. Yeah, I went for the big guns. Okay, so once again, back to the process. So pick a scene, potentially draw the scene a couple of times, do some value studies. Here I'm actually mixing up a very dark color so that I could work on those background trees in there. And actually I painted that in a little bit of a different style this time. I am going for more of a dry brushing technique rather than a wet on wet technique for this. The reason why I did that is because I wanted to lay down this middle ground-ish color. Once again, kind of a value study. I was going through the process talking about value study, so this is kind of the value study. The tree there is the darkest. The overhang on the building and the tree are the darkest values in this scene, and so I wanted to sort of put, I mean, the background trees are kind of dark too, but the tree is still darker. So I wanted to add some value on there, but I wanted to leave some, what is the word I'm looking for? I wanted to leave my options open. So that is why I painted it in a dry brush way so that there was some white still behind there. Okay, now I'm working on the different layers, and I was struggling. That layer looked kind of blue-green to me. I was examining that on the phone, trying to color match. Okay, so back to the process. It's great. Everything's fine. So pick your scene. Potentially do a value study. Do your drawing. Decide on your color scheme that you're going to use and maybe where your point of interest is going to be. I decided right there I was going to try to make my point of interest, which I wanted to have where the darkest value and lightest value meet. I don't know. My cat just laid on the list, the book where I have the list. His butt is on my list. So sorry. Anyway, so that's where I wanted to have the brightest kind of color. That's why I picked a really bright green there. So the lightest value and the darkest value, or maybe the brightest value next to each other. Okay, so that would be the point of interest. Then the new process I'm going to work on is doing an underpainting with sort of the brightest color where I want the point of interest to be. Then, of course, adding details. And there's a couple of different ways you could do that. You can add your midtones first or add your shadows first. And then, of course, finish off your painting with final details. So, okay. Here I am finally painting the building. And then you'll see me... the colors of the building are actually kind of interesting. Okay, I'm going to stop talking. I will come back when I start working on the grasses. Enjoy the music. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'll be back in a second. Hello, I'm back and working on the grasses. You saw me working on some of the mid-tones, some of the buildings, just trying to get some interest there. I also was trying to clean up some of the spots where I had left too much white paper showing. For the grasses, I'm just using kind of a smaller round brush and I'm using a flicking technique. And I decided to actually try 3 different colors for the grasses. So the first color was kind of a darker brown green. Then I used a brighter green and also finished off with some yellow, just to make it interesting. Then I mixed up a darker green because I needed to, distinguish the layers in the landscaping. Plus, I also wanted to make the building pop out a little bit. I did, while I was working on the, what's it called? Sorry, this is a voiceover. Yes, I'm good. When I was working on the voiceover, I did realize that I missed an opportunity to add a little bit of a dark line on the back side of the building for the roof line there. That would have added some interest. So, oops, maybe I'll go do that later. Now I have, I'm still working on that tree line. It's very interesting. There's lots of interesting trees in Southern Illinois, actually. So the first couple of travel videos that I'd done when I resurrected my channel were all to St. Louis, and the last few have just been over to Illinois, which is kind of interesting. Yay, Southern Illinois. It doesn't get as much love as it should. So working on the tree now. Sorry. Yeah, my commentary is great. One of the things I decided to do for the tree was leave some empty space and paint around it. So I decided to put the structure of the tree first, and then, as I said before, the tree is kind of the darkest subject within this painting, and so I tried to do some dry brushing techniques on that one. And then you'll see at the end I switch brushes. This one I'm using very dark green that I mixed with green, blue, and brown. And I'm just stippling in where the leaves are. And I liked it, but it wasn't, I thought it would be more interesting if there were some solid spots as well. And so in a minute, I get out my flat brush and the technique that I use, so I use the flat brush on the tree, and I used the flat brush on the grasses in the front. Anyway, think I'm done with my voiceover for now. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please leave them in the thing. I totally appreciate anybody who watches my videos. I will have some more instructions soon with this painting process. I think it's going to be beneficial for me to document it and to start using it. So anyway, if that's something that interests you, like and subscribe. Anyway, have a wonderful day. I hope you're painting. I hope it's wonderful. Okay, bye.